everyone, this is Sam Car Legion. Welcome back to another video. The 2021 Jaguar F Pace has arrived, and today I'm going to show you everything you need to know about the 2021 F Pace. Special thanks for this video goes to our great friends at JLR Budds, a dealership located in Oakville, Ontario, Canada. They offer Jaguar and Land Rover vehicles. I've already reviewed a couple of cars out of their dealership, so if you want to know more about them, the link will be in the description box if you want to take this for a test drive. But today, I'm going to show you what's new with the 2021 model. What does it offer, and is actually worth over its competitors? That's what we're going to talk about today. So first, let's talk about the pricing. Well, things have changed compared to the previous generation. Of course, now you get a lot more than you did previously. So let's start for the base model. Canadian pricing for the previous generation started at about $45,000. The 2021 model starts at $60,000. So is that price increase justifiable? Well, let's start first with the exterior. This year, they have introduced new exterior design. The body dimensions remain very much the same as the previous model. Even the space remains very much the same as the previous model. I'm assuming customers didn't complain much about the trunk space in this vehicle. Therefore, Jaguar continued with that sort of platform to the older model, and now it's moved on to the new generation. The exterior design has changed. So first, the hood has received a more refined changes, and of course a different shape. So now it's sort of like a wave all the way through. So in the center it's a bit raised, and on the side it's lowered. So a very good aerodynamic design. The exterior headlights, of course, have changed. The headlights have received a new design. It's sort of like a double J for the letter J for Jaguar in the front, and it has the Jaguar LED technology. So a bit more aggressive design compared to the previous generation. The actual bumper in the front has changed as well. It has a more aggressive style compared to the previous generation, and now the actual fog lights are located all the way to the bottom. A very distinctive design to the F Pace. Now let's talk about the engine options. Well, first you get a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It makes 335 brake horsepower. It uses a ZF automatic transmission, and it's of course an all-wheel drive. Now, if you want to spice it up, you can go all the way to the P400, which makes more horsepower, or you can go all the way to the SVR, which of course is a V8 supercharged engine that makes like 550 brake horsepower. It's quite an impressive vehicle because you get all those extra trims that you can make it interesting, so you don't have to get a boring car. Now, we want to test how this thing does on the road, and of course we're going to talk about once we take it out there and see how it handles the power delivery. And of course it comes with adjustable suspension system, so based on the driving mode it will change the stiffness, softer for comfort, and so on. But most importantly, it is of course an all-wheel drive. The rear end has received some design upgrades. So for example, the taillights, now it has a distinctive design as well, a bit more sharper. And what I love about it is how it's completely hidden inside, so it's nice and smooth and flat all the way through, so that way it doesn't look like extended on the outside and very dull. This looks nice and refined and sleek. I love that design. The tail lights are fantastic, great shape, and of course they follow that double J style as the front one. It also offers the new bumper at the back. It's sort of like shaved in through to this area, and then the exhaust rings are actually not original to the exhaust itself, the exhaust system. They're just there to give it an aggressive look. The exhaust system, it's located right inside. So we're going to talk about how it sounds on the road, of course. The space, in terms of the trunk space, things have remained very much the same as the previous generation. So you're still getting the exact same cubic feet of space as the previous model. It does have a power lift gate, and you can use your remote control to open it and close it at the same time. Now, in terms of leg room, you're still getting the exact same thing as the previous generation, so things haven't changed much in there. You do get heated seats with this package in the back, and of course you have the charging options in here for the cigarette light. It doesn't seem to offer any USB ports in the back. A bit disappointing with that. Maybe it is offered with a different package. And of course this comes with a full panoramic roof across, and an automatic sunshade, which you can close it sort of like a net, so it's not really thick, so you're still getting some light inside. It has beautiful leather interior, so things haven't changed there as well. They have pretty much imported all the way from the previous generation to the new one. It has this beautiful wood finish trim inside and the beautiful metallic style speakers. The door handle has received a nice and refined style. I love the style of Jaguars inside, and even in the rear end you still feel like you're inside a nice luxury vehicle. The leather, the thickness, everything just good quality, so you don't hear those creaking noises that you get in certain cars. Don't want to name any brands, but this is nice, good quality. Now let's move on to the front area and let's talk about what do we get for this year. Well, first of all, the steering wheel. If you've ever watched a review of the Jaguar F Pace, it's very much the same, exactly the same in this case. So you get a new nice grip. I love the design of it because you got easy access to everything from the cruise control, the heated steering wheel, and so on. And it has this beautiful aluminum finish pedal shifters that are located onto the steering wheel. Most importantly, if you want to adjust the actual steering column, you have this lock button here, and you can adjust it by just moving in left, just scrolling it, and that way you have access to the actual steering column. In terms of the cluster, you have a full digital cluster that you can change quite a lot of layout. So if you've ever seen the I-Pace, again, very similar to that, a beautiful, massive digital cluster. With this package, we don't have any heads-up display, but what it does have, though, it's a heated front windshield, and you also get the option to get upgraded to the actual mirror, which turns into a full LCD. Next thing has changed, of course, the center console. Now we have a new gear knob. The actual wireless charging pad for the phone is located right in front of it. Easy access, just slide your phone. It's big enough to fit any phone at this point. We have two cup holders in the center and more space in here to use for coins or anything like that. On top of it, you can just close it completely. The actual knobs in here in the center, again, very similar to the Jaguar I-Pace. You have the full climate unit in this area. You have access to your fan speed and so on through the actual knobs located in here, so you can push, pull, and that way you can turn on the heated seats, ventilated seats, and on top of that, the speed, the fan speed as well by pushing it and pulling. For both sides, so you have dual climate zones, and then of course the rest of it, it's right in here. You also have buttons in this area, so that way you have access to the heated seats through the climate unit. You can turn them on and turn them off. Now the biggest change for this year is, of course, this massive infotainment display, very sharp. It looks like a tablet, as if you kind of put it in there. So I will say it looks similar to a Tesla. It's not the same size, but I see the design inspiration, and where it's actually located, it's right in here, and it looks in the center. And I love the fact that there are no two screens, just one. Everything is right in there. That's perfect because you want less fingerprints. The actual center console here has changed as well. Now you have more space underneath to put maybe something like your foods or anything extra you can use, and it goes all the way through, so that way it gives you more space. Let me give you a quick tour of the infotainment system, because this is probably one of the most important things about this car, because it's technically a new generation, and then very friendly, very easy to use. Of course, it has a 360 camera. As you can see, sorry, that's the license plate in there, and then it has a parking sensor, so you can actually turn them off completely, and then this is the actual 360 view. It's quite sharp. You got to give it to them. It's quite sharp, and you have different modes as well, so you can change for the rear side. One thing I noticed that you can't show the front camera only in here. Let's just try that. Nope, you can't. So it only gives you 3 views, but it does have the directional lines, so to give you an idea when you're parking the vehicle. And of course, it shows the wheels when they're turned, so that way you have a good idea. And then just put it into park mode. There you go. So now you have full view even after a couple of seconds when you put into park modes. Now, when you have the camera this way without the reverse, you get a full 360. Now look at that. That is quite sharp, and then it changes mode. So when you have it in reverse, it doesn't show you all the camera options, but then when you turn on the actual camera option that this is equipped with, basically gives you all this extra views of the vehicle. There you go. and then you have a 360 camera, so it gives you a good amount of surround area, so that way you know exactly. You can just do that, and then it just moves. It's not as fast as some other vehicles, but if you keep doing that, it will just move around, so you can show you exactly around the vehicle, so that way you don't crash anywhere and you have a good view. This is the menu. We have accounts, so you can create an account for each individual. Then the seats, of course, this is for the ventilated option. You have to turn it on first, and then you have heated seats. I believe with this package we don't have ventilated seats, but you can get that option. It only shows like it's seat heat only, and it is for passenger and driver side. And then go back to the menu. We have voice control, low traction. This is something you've seen in Range Rover Sport as well, very similar. Something that you've seen in the Range Rover Sport is the start low traction launch. So in case you get stuck somewhere, it shows you exactly how to activate it. Very smart. So let's go back into the menu. Has a built-in navigation system. This doesn't have the map files yet, but you have to get an actual USB port to get with this package. It doesn't have. We have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but not wireless. That's something I'm disappointed with this car. But then you have all surface information. So this is quite impressive, because if you ever take this for off-road, and this vehicle gives you quite a lot of ground clearance. And you can see the drivetrain, where the power is going, the front wheels, the rear wheels. I'm assuming this is a rear wheel base mostly, because the actual control in here shows you the rear power, not the front one. And then you have the JDC info when you change the driving mode. So you can change the driving modes with this button in the center. You can put it to eco, comfort, or dynamic. So you have a couple options. And then of course race, and then you have rain, ice, and snow. When you put into dynamic mode, the exhaust changes the sound as well, so it becomes more aggressive to give you a performance feeling. Now, those are some of the features in there. And then we have dynamic mode. Dynamic mode, you can change quite a lot. So you have the engine, dynamic steering, suspension system. As I said, they're adjustable. So based on the actual driving mode, it will stiffen or loosen the suspension system, and then the engine gets more responsive, the steering wheel as well, and of course the gear shift is equipped with the ZF. You can change everything from there. You have a stopwatch, so if you ever want to keep track of that. Then you have a lap time, and then you have a G meter as well. That is a G-force. Quite interesting. So if you ever want to take this for a track day, that's quite impressive. I mean, it's not an SVR. I can't wait for the SVR. That's going to show us quite a lot of interesting features. Then we, of course, we have the media, and you have the climate unit control. From here, you can't control the second row because it doesn't have a full climate unit, but very much like the I-Pace control unit. So it's very similar to that. On top of that, if we close this, and then we go back to home, if you hold this, you can arrange the icons the way you want them for easy access. So now you have another 4 icons. We only have this 4 in here. So that's very smart. That way you can add your own shortcuts. And we have the energy impact. It shows you exactly where that energy is used. And then it gives you eco tips as well to improve your fuel efficiency. Very smart. And your driving style, it shows you how fast you're going. If you're a lunatic like myself that goes crazy all the time, this is not a good thing to see, because you're going to burn a lot of gas. And then it shows the history as well. So a lot of tech features offered in this vehicle. Unfortunately, we don't have the navigation system, but most of the time, let's be honest, you're going to use your phone. I don't use the built-in navigation system a lot because I just find it useless. But that is what you need to know about the new infotainment system. Very smart. Okay, I've covered everything you need to know about this 2021 F Pace. It is time to take this for a test drive and see how it handles on the road. So, let's go for a drive. The first thing I noticed with this is that I cut my finger. God damn it, it's so cold today. Anyways, I have it in dynamic mode. This thing has a power kick that it's tempting all the time. It feels quick as well. Nice. It actually feels quick. Generally feels very quick in my opinion. it has that power kick and it's instant. The beautiful thing about this is that the fact that it offers the ZF transmission, that transmission is fantastic in my opinion. It's used in multiple cars, like the BMW series is one of those. Beautiful, even the SVR I believe uses a ZF transmission. That is a 550 brake horsepower. It just shows you that there is some confidence behind that beast. The transmission it's quick in here, that's for sure. I have it in dynamic mode and you just push it. Gotta love this thing. It's quiet inside. That's one thing I noticed. In terms of the driver assistant package, you have lane assist, gap assist as well, speed limiter as well. So it depends on the speed of the road that you're driving in. It will drive based on that. So if it's 80 kilometers, we'll do 80 kilometers. Once it gets to 100, it goes to 100 kilometers an hour. You have blind spot assist as well, auto dimming mirrors for both sides. So that way at night, those bastards that keep the high beams on, they won't bother you. I hate those people. And I'd rather have those people that forget to turn on their headlights at some point than the ones that have them high beams. I know it's crazy to say that because they can cause more harm, the ones that don't have any headlights on. But honestly, at this point, like, some people annoy the hell out of me because it's so hard to drive. Most important is that new technologies like this save you from that. Once I've used it in other vehicles, it's fantastic for auto dimming. It gets a bit dark in certain areas, but it avoids that hard brightness on your face and you just get blind. Into corner, nice. Oh, steering wheel gets stiff by about 20% when you switch to dynamic mode, and most importantly, the suspension system as well gets stiff. Let's push this. Nice. Oh, that was good. It has a bit of a power kick, that's for sure. The comfort level, even in dynamic mode, it's not stiff, so it doesn't annoy you. It's good. It's soft, comfortable, but you feel that stiffness just slightly, so it doesn't bother you when you're driving. Some cars can get really hard on the road. It's perfect. It's actually perfect even in dynamic mode. Let's shift into, let's do comfort for a moment. I noticed that it's getting smooth now. Has a bit of a power kick even in comfort mode. That's nice, I like that. It's a very comfortable vehicle and it is very quiet inside. I don't even actually have to raise my voice and there's traffic. I like that. Okay, let's try the cruise control. Here, lane assist. Okay, 100, lane assist is on. So with this package, it sort of like bounces you left and right, but it doesn't actively steer as most vehicles. So, okay, it's showing you, okay, you're going onto that side. It's kind of going like left and right, so it's not necessarily keeping you within the lanes fully. And it does recognize the lanes because we had an exit there and it didn't pick up that. It's still doing a good job, like it's staying in the center, but it doesn't necessarily steer all the time. So you still have to keep your hands on the wheel. You have to do that manually, so you got to make sure you don't exit onto the left or right side of the shoulders. You can crash into other vehicles, but it's warning you when you go too close to the left side or the right side. Maybe there is a different package that they offer, but what we have today, it only has lane assist, and of course you get gap assist as well. So it might not have the full adaptive cruise control. It has a speed limiter, that's for sure. It's still fantastic. It's still a great feature to have, but it doesn't actively steer like other vehicles. It's just basically warning you to not crash into other vehicles. And also when you're shifting onto the actual road, the lanes left and right, it just says stay straight basically. But most importantly, what I like about this is the space in here. Everything just feels nice and comfortable. It does feel, it feels soft on the road with this vehicle. And one thing that it's shocking me a lot is the actual cabin noise. It's very, very quiet inside. It's actually very, very quiet. There's so much traffic on the road, and yet I can't hear anything at this point. Like, it's just nice and easy, because inside you can have a nice conversation with someone. You don't have to raise your voice the entire time. With that in mind, thanks for watching, guys. I hope I was able to answer some of your questions, and special thanks goes to our great friends at JLR Budds for allowing me to borrow this and show you what it's all about. This video is not sponsored by them in any way. With that in mind, please stay safe. Cheers. Downshift. Nice, nice.